are watching Eswatini TV, Sibuko Semaswati.
A very good afternoon and welcome. My name is Rabbit and with me today is
Monkey.
So, just to start off the show on a very ecstatic note, we are going to sing a very lovely song for you guys. So, there it goes.
Right, I'm ready.
Okay. So, you have to face that side,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are your bum bums bigger than mine? Are your bum bums? Are your bum bums? Are your bum bums bigger than mine? Well, unfortunately, her bum bums are bigger than mine.
Expose me, why don't you? A very good afternoon to everyone back at home. We hope that you had a beautiful weekend and are ready for another day of learning on this Monday afternoon. What does our day look like today?
Well, from 2 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. we have grade 0 lesson. From 2:30 p.m. until 3 p.m. we have the grade 1s and 2s religious education lesson. From 3 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. we have the grade 5s and 6 lesson, which is social studies. From 3:30 p.m. until 4 p.m. we have the form 1s and 2s lesson, which is English language. From 4 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. we have the Form 4 lesson, which is English language. The last lesson from 4:30 p.m. until 5 p.m. is the Form 4 mathematics lesson.
Yes, of course, that's what the day looks like for you guys. And just a reminder about our social media platforms. We are live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. And of course, we do have a WhatsApp number that you guys can use to ask any questions that you might have during the lesson. Now, our heads might have given it out, I guess, about today's topic for the grade 0 lesson. I'm thinking we're doing animals today. I don't know. You will find out right after the break with Lerato, who is going to be taking you through the grade 0 lesson. We'll be right back after this.
Buhle bethu imvelo yethu, buhle bethu tindzawo tethu, indalo yashada nemasiko kuhle kwethu, kuvakasha kwethula umthwalo emahlombe ethu, hloma ngwane vuka uvakashe, indlela uyikhombe etindzaweni tethu, temvelo nembukiso ungcebeleke uthathe netithombe. Lalela ke nangu sonkondlo waseswatini akutekela, ayibeka indzaba ayihlela, kuhle kwelijaha lishela ngiyakutshela, diningi tindzawo longativakashela, hloma ngwane vuka uvakashe la, phana lapha kuvakasha kuyayelapha enhlitiyo kanye nemqondo kuyawuphumuda, kuqinisa buhlobo nebungane losebundenga ndenga, with a trip to Mantenga Falls or a sip among friends of Sibebe Brew on Sibebe Mountain, or perhaps your cup of tea is backpacking and horse riding, sightseeing the seamless streams and springs that stream across the gorgeous valleys of the mountainous kingdoms of Eswatini. We have you covered. Hloma ngwane vuka uvakashe, buhle bethu imvelo yethu, buhle bethu ngabuthola nasebantwini bethu.
A very good afternoon, grade 0s, and welcome to your favorite tele-education program, Home Study. My name is Lerato Mabilisa, but for today you can call me Rabbit, and the topic for today is animals with teacher Nontetelelo Ndlovu. A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Lerato.
How are you today?
I'm good, and yourself? And you look very pretty.
You look pretty yourself. So today's topic is animals.
Yes.
What
Lerato.
did you expect the grade 0s to have learned by the end of the lesson?
All right, Lerato. At the end of the lesson, the learners should be able to name the different animals that they see every day, and also they should be able to count objects up to 6 and also recognize a letter for today.
Okay. Without wasting any time, please begin your lesson.
Thank you very much, Lerato. And here we go. Good afternoon, good afternoon. How are you? And you, and you, and you. Tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la. Good afternoon, everybody. We are back together again to learn to read and write and play. Now it's time to say hello. Hello and welcome, boys and girls. We are back to our beautiful lesson. Hope we shall have a very good time. And today I have a friend. His name is Monkey. Hello, Monkey. Right, so we'll be conducting our lesson with Monkey today. And let's go to our lesson. The first things first. Right, Monkey, do you remember the days of the week? And Monkey says, yes. So we shall sing the song for the days of the week. And it goes like this. There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. Days of the week. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. Thank you very much, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed your song for the days of the week. Now, we're going to find out what is the day today. As we remember yesterday, it was a Sunday. We went to church. So the next day that comes after Sunday is Monday. Here is the word Monday. This is Monday. So today is Monday. Right. Let's look over here and you say after me, today is Monday. Again, today is Monday. Thank you very much, boys and girls. You were so brilliant. Now let's carry on with Monkey and the weather. Do you know how the weather is, Monkey? Monkey, it looks like he doesn't know how the weather is today. So we're going to, as we sing our weather song, I want you to look outside the window and see how the weather is. So we're going to sing our weather song and it goes like this. How's the weather? How is the weather? How is the weather today? How is the weather? How is the weather? How is the weather today? I will tell you about the weather where I am today. When I came in, it was raining and it's still raining. I can hear the pitter-patter raindrops falling from the sky. And as you can see in the picture here, there are raindrops and there are friends carrying umbrellas because when it's a rainy day, we need to protect ourselves from the rain. So we have to carry our umbrellas and also wear our rain jackets. Right, so today the weather, it is raining. Right, and I hope you've seen how the weather is wherever you are. It might be cloudy, might be partly cloudy, it might be windy. So you just sing the song just like I did. Right, let's carry on to our next item, which is the shape of the week. Last time when we were here, we learned about two shapes, which is the circle. We said a circle is round like a ball. And then we also learned about the square shape. We said the square has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides that are equal and also 4 corners. So today we have a new shape. Right, let's look at this shape. Who can tell me? What is this shape? Yes, very good. This is a triangle. This is a triangle. How is a triangle? A triangle has 1, 2, 3 sides. Let's count the corners of the triangle. 1, 2, 3 corners. So this shape is a triangle. And we see the triangle shape every day and everywhere. Can you think of one thing that you see every day that is shaped like a triangle? Yes, someone is saying a piece of pizza, teacher. Yes, a piece of pizza is shaped like a triangle. And what else? Some houses, some roofs are shaped like a triangle. And someone is saying little footy. Yes, little footy is also shaped like a triangle. Thank you, boys and girls. You are brilliant. Now let us move on to our next item, which is the color of the week. Last time we learned about the color blue and the color red, which is the color of our triangle today. But today we have a new shape, a new color. I'll show you some pictures of things here, and I want you to tell me their names, what they are. The first picture that we'll see is this. What is this? It's a snake. This is a snake. Some people are so scared of the snake, and we shall put our picture over here. And the next picture is this. What are these? Mangoes. Juicy. I love mangoes. And let's put the pictures of mangoes over there. And what are these? Bananas. These are bananas. Right. And the last picture that we have is this. A flower. You are good. This is a flower. So all these pictures here have the same color. And who can tell us what is this color that we see here? Color yellow. Of course, all these things are color yellow. And now I want you to use your brain box and think a bit of something that you see every day that is color yellow. Yes, the sun. The sun is color yellow, just like the snake, the bananas, and the flower. Thank you, boys and girls. You are so good. Right, let's move on to the letter of today. I know some people have forgotten how we say our letters. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to say all the letters of the alphabet up to the last one, and then we shall say their sounds. So you say after me: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Thank you, boys and girls. You were so good. Now we're going to say each letter sound. Let's go. A, B, K, D, E, F, G, H. So this is the letter H, and it makes the sound just like a goose when it makes its sound. So now I'll show you some pictures of different things, and their names, they begin with the letter H. Let's look at the pictures. What is the first picture that we see here? A horse. This is a horse. Horse. So let's put the horse over here. And the next picture is this. Yes, this is a hen. Right. And we're going to put the hen down here. The last picture, what's this? A hippopotamus. Right. This is a hippopotamus. Right. And we're going to put it there. We say the hippopotamus, in short, we call it a hippo. Now, if you listen to the sounds or the names of these animals here, they all begin with the letter H. Right. So, and they sound like horse, hen, hippo. Right. Thank you, boys and girls. You were so good. Now let us move on to our number for this week. Right, before we get to our number, I'd like us to count from 1 up to 20. Now, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very good, boys and girls. You were so brilliant. Now, today I'd like you to help me count this. I have some crayons here, beautiful crayons. Right, and we're going to count all these crayons together and see what they add up to. Let's count the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one, 6. So how many crayons do we have? 6 crayons. Can we count 6 fingers? 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right. How do we write the number 6? This is the number 6. When we write the number 6, we start from here and we curve down like we're writing a circle, and we go up and in. So this is the number 6 for the 6 crayons that we have up there. Right. Thank you, boys and girls. You are so good. Right. Now let's move on to our next item, which is the lesson of today. Right. So today we have our beautiful chart here. Let's look at it. Right. And as you've seen, our presenters and also your teacher, they are wearing some hairbands and they have beautiful animals. So today we'll be learning about animals. What are animals? Animals are living things that we see every day. Some animals are big, some animals are small, some animals they fly about, some they walk, some they crawl. So we'll be learning about the different names of different animals. So where do we find animals? We find animals in different places. There are animals that live in the forest, and there are animals that we live with at our homes, and there are animals that live in the water. Some they even live underground. When you dig in your garden, you find some animals inside there. So we'll be learning about these different animals, and we recognize animals in different ways. They have different body coverings. Some animals on their bodies, they have feathers, like the what? The birds. Birds on their bodies, they have feathers, and some animals, their bodies are covered with fur, just like the cow, the lion, and also the dog. They have fur on their body coverings. And some animals have scales on their bodies, just like the fish, the crocodile, and some have hard shells on them which protect them from getting harm from other animals. And animals are different in such a way that some are dangerous to us, so we must keep away from those animals. Some are just friendly, just like the animals that we keep at our homes. And what do these animals eat? They eat different things. Some they eat plants, and some they eat other animals, and some they both eat plants and other animals. So animals are just different. Now let's go on and say each animal name. Like you will tell me, I know that some friends, they know some of these animals. Right, so you will tell me each animal, and if you can't, then I'll try and remind you. Like, let's look at the first picture. What is this animal? An elephant. And what is this animal? A bird. What do birds do? They fly. Yes, they fly up on the sky. And what is this animal? A cow. Right, this is a cow. It's one of the animals that we keep at our home. Can you make a sound of a cow? Yes, moo. A cow sounds like moo. Right, and what is this animal? giraffe. Yes, it's one of the animals that live in the forest. It has a long neck so that it can eat the green leaves from trees, right? So these are giraffe. There are 2 giraffes that we can see here, right? And here in this picture we have small tiny animals that fly about and they make the sound hey. Yes, what is that animal? Mosquitoes. Yes, these are mosquitoes. They are also part of the animals that we have around us. And here we have a chicken. We call it a rooster, right? And what sound does a rooster make? Kikerikiki. Yes, that's a rooster. It wakes us up early in the morning, even in the midday. It crawls like that. And here is another animal that we have. It goes swimming in the water. So it is a water animal. What do we call this animal? A fish. Very good. And then here's another one. What do we call this animal? A lion. Right. And what sound does a lion make? Yes, that's the sound of a lion. It lives in the jungle and it's one of the animals that is just dangerous to us. That's why when we go to see them, sometimes we have to stand very far from them. And the next animal, it's a dog, of course. That is a dog. And what sound do dogs make? Woof, woof, woof. Yes. And puppies? Woof, woof, woof. Yes, those are part of the animals. Now, here is our next animal. That is a pig. Yes, a dog and a pig are part of the animals that we keep at our homes. Right, so this is a pig. Right, the next one, it's a crocodile. This is a crocodile. It lives sometimes on the land and most of the time in the water. It's also dangerous to us. And this is a turtle. It lives in the water. So these are the animals that we'll be learning about today. As we can remember that on our letter for today we had the hippo, the horse, and also the hen. Right, so these are the names of the animals, and our number for today is the number 6, and the shape of the week is the triangle, and also the color for today, it is the color yellow. Of course, those are the things that we learned about. Now we're coming to the end of our lesson, but before we get to the end of our lesson, I'd like us, I heard our presenter singing a very beautiful song, so I'd like us to sing that song again. I'm the monkey, remember, and someone is a rabbit, so we're going to sing the song. Are your bum bum bigger than mine? Are your bum bum? Are your bum bum? Are your bum bum bigger than mine? Thank you very much. That's the end of our lesson for today.
Okay, thank you very much, grade zeros, for watching. I'm sure you enjoyed your lesson today because I enjoyed your lesson. Thank you very much, teacher, for such an amazing lesson today. Okay, now grade 1s and 2s, come closer to your screens because your religious education teacher, Teacher Wiseman Gwenya, will be back after this infomercial.
Emaphoyisa neseve lolu hlelo lwakho loluchamuka khona embuthweni wembobe lolufundzisa kabanti liphindze licwayise zona phela seve ngato tindzaba tekuvikela bona kucala.
Thokotela uhlelo lwakho emaphoyisa nesive kuso sikhathi lesisha njalo ngabolesine ngensimbi yesihlanu nsambama khona la Eswatini TV.
Eswatini, your favorite show, is back. The Spotlight Season 2 returns with an exciting new twist. We are taking the kingdom's #1 music talent search digital. One lucky winner will drive away in a brand new Kia Picanto, get a recording deal, and walk away with fantastic prizes, including a trendy Huawei P40 Pro. This year, the application process has been made better, easier, and brighter. To apply, simply follow the application process on the Spotlight and MTN Eswatini social media platforms. And remember to download the Ayoba and Music Time apps on your mobile device to complete your registration into the Spotlight Season 2. Visit yellowhub.co.sz/the spotlight/apply. The audition dates are as follows. Manzini, 26th September to the 1st of October. Shiselweni, the 3rd to the 8th of October. Hoho, 10th to the 15th of October. Lubombo, 17th to the 22nd of October. Shine bright like the star that you are on the Spotlight Season 2.
Why should we pay our TV license?
The content on our local television is actually more up to date. The industry is enhanced.
It is a criminal offense not to pay your TV license and attracts a fine of 500 emalangeni or 6 months imprisonment.
And the industry is definitely blooming, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we have for you. But we'll be right back just after the break and we'll give you more of Miss V.
Pay my TV license. That's why I can enjoy the benefits of an enhanced industry and keep track with recent transformation.
Mommy, who pays for a TV license and what are they paying for?
The owners of TV set and a gadget with a tuner like DVD set have to pay.
Pay your TV license at NetBank with the details provided on screen. Or use your cell phone via the mobile money pay. You could also visit your nearest post office and pay there. Pay your TV license via Eswatini Mobile Imali. Any TV device retailer can purchase a license to trade. Pay your TV license and enhance the industry.
Sinvusele maswati lamahle kanye nabo bonke bazalwane eveni laseSwatini. Igama lami ngingayandazwane Health Promotions Officer walohlelo lolushasha lolubitwa ngekuthi yi-Faith and Community Initiative kafishane FCI.
Njengoba sisho sobe sikhuluma ngokusebenzisana nebandla bafundisi ngisho njalo namabandla anebantu akhiwa abantu lebafikayo lebangela lamaswati lesikhuluma ngayo and kuyindlela kuba ngiyona leyo platform lenye lekubonakala ukuthi singayisebenzisa kwabonakala even then ukuthi singayisebenzisa ukuthi sikhone ukuthi sifike kubo bonke abantu
ikakhulu lubuke ukuthi bantu basitakale kwekuqala enzabeni yokuthi kwanze umsebenzi wokuvikela igciwane le-HIV la kangwane
but labantu bebathi disclose bona bathi sho bona sibanjani baphathekile bathandazelwe labo bantu labo nabativa bangcono bebasithatha hayi ngithemba sengiphilile mina asizange ngisho kanye ndakunika nje good example sibatshela zabayekela amaphilisi
namhla ke ngibheka ukuthi ukuthatha indvodza into ukuthatha babe futhi asade isimo sakhe sengadi kumcoka ukuthi usade isimo sengadi ukuze utokhombisa luthando lonalo emndenini wakho utokhombisa luthando lonalo nasemphakathini.
Jive nome kanjani and forget what bothers you the most. On this stage, our dancers fire in their eyes come alive. They explore the fires that lay deep within with different dance moves. On this stage, they claim their space and who they are with sparkles. Freestyle.
With the change in technology, out-of-home digital media is designed to grab the attention of people who are always on the go. You can now watch your favorite show, Usile Breakfast Show and Dinzaba at 7 on your favorite YouTube channel.
It's simple. You can stream these shows by following these quick, easy steps. Number 1,
open YouTube. Number 2, search for Eswatini TV and click on Eswatini TV. Number 3, after you had entered on Eswatini TV, look for Tindzaba or KPS. And while you edit, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell button to get notifications of our video uploads and streams. And lastly, enjoy the stream. Stay home and watch Eswatini TV. Stay safe.
A very good afternoon, grade 1s and 2s. This is the second subject for the day, and you are learning religious education with teacher Wise Man Ngwenya, and the topic for today is God takes care of nature. My name is Lerato Mabilisa, and also joining me in the studio is the sign language interpreter Nompumelelo Hadebe. A very good afternoon, Mr. Ngwenya.
Good afternoon, Lerato. How are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm good too. So today's topic is God takes care of nature.
Yes.
Okay, what would you expect the viewer to have learned by the end of the lesson?
By the end of the lesson, I expect the learner to list things that were created by God. I also expect the learner to mention ways on how God takes care of nature. I also expect the learner to list things that were created by God. I expect the learner to mention ways on how God takes care of nature. I expect the learner to classify things as natural and man-made.
Okay, without wasting any time, please begin your lesson.
Okay. Dear learner, how are you at home? We are looking at creation. We are looking at God takes care of nature under creation. Okay? Now, you may be asking yourself, why are we looking at God taking care of nature? Now, this lesson, dear learner, it is going to help you just to appreciate nature. It will also make you to acknowledge God for taking care of nature. As I have said, dear learner, by the end of this lesson, I expect you to list 3 things that were created by God. I expect you to mention at least 3 ways on how God takes care of nature. I expect you to classify things as natural and man-made. Okay? Yes. Now, dear learner, throughout this lesson, there will be words that we will look at, and these are the key words in the lesson. So the first word is create. Can we read the word together? Create. That is the first word. The next word is nature. Nature. Can we read the word together? Nature. And the next word is man-made. Man-made. Can we read the word? Man-made. Good. Dear learner, we need to define these words. What is to create? To create is to make something. When you create, you make something. And then what is nature? When we talk about nature, we're talking about all the things that were created by God. All the things that were created by God. We call them nature. And then man-made. When we talk about this word, man-made is all the things that were made by people. So all the things that were made by people, we say they are man-made. Now, dear learner, can you take some time, peep through the window? Can you just take some time, peep through the window and look around? What do you see? Huh? I'm sure you can see some trees there. You can see mountains. You can see some chickens. You can see maybe some stones. Have you ever thought of where all these things come from? Where does the trees come from? Where do the mountains come from? Where do the chickens come from? All these things were created by God. They come from God. Right? Now, the God who created all things, he loves what he made. He loves what he created. So that is why today we are going to look at him taking care of all that he made. God taking care of all that he made. Now, dear Lena, can you look at this picture? Can you look at this picture? What do you see in the picture? For me, I can see people there. I can see a bird flying up in the sky. I can see a giraffe. I can see a beautiful fruit tree there. Wow. I can see a lion. I can see a fish there just playing in the water. Okay? Now all of these things that you can see in the picture, there is water there, it's a river, there are some plants. All these things were created by God. So all the things that you can see were created by God. He created the sun. He created trees. He created grass. He created people. He created birds. He created the sky, the moon, stars. He created rivers, land animals, water animals. There is God in creation. Okay. But now, dear Lena, the God who created all these things, he takes care of what he created. So, God takes care of the things that he created by giving it, number one, food. He provides food for the things that he created. He provides water. He provides air. And he provides light. Okay? Look at the picture now. You can see some animals there. There are cows there. There are sheep. There are goats. Look at them. What are they doing? They are feeding on grass. Have you ever seen a goat or a sheep planting grass? No. Now, where does the grass come from? God provides the grass. He makes sure that there is always enough grass. These days it is raining. God is making sure that there is enough grass for the animals to feed. Why is he doing this? He is taking care of all that he created. He wants to make sure the animals have got enough to eat. Okay? Good. Look at Sipho there. What is Sipho doing? He's picking a fruit from that tree. Now, I'm sure, dear Lena, you also sometimes walk around your home and see some fruit trees. Some of those fruit trees you have never planted. Some, even those that were planted by your parents. But your parents cannot make those plants to produce fruits. But where do the fruits come from? God makes sure that there are fruits around. Then you will just come around and pick them and enjoy them. Because he loves what he created. He loves you. Okay. So God provides. He does not provide only grass and plants. But even the animals themselves are provided by God for humans to eat. So God provides all those animals for you because he is taking care of all that he made. Okay? Now, dear Lena, look at that beautiful tree. Can you think, have you ever thought of how you were going to be able to see all those fruits there if there was no light? You wouldn't see them. So you are able to see those fruits there because there is light. So another thing that God does to show that he takes care of nature, he provides light. You can see the sun there. It is making sure that the world is so bright. You are able to see the fruits. You are able to see everything around. Again, look at the grass there. It is so green. The light from the sun is providing energy for the grass to grow. also for the fruits to grow, the tree to grow so well. So God provides light to show that he takes care of all that he created. He provides light for the plant. But there is one other thing that God does. You see, God in creation, he created light. But he allowed the light to rule the day, and also there was night there. So he made sure that you will get time to rest. So he provided the night time for you to have time to rest. So God cares about all that he created. He wants to make sure you also find time to rest. Okay? Let us look at this other picture now. There are some animals there. For me, I can see a hippopotamus there. It is enjoying the water. There are zebras there. They are drinking. So all those animals are just enjoying the water. This water was provided by God for animals to drink. And some animals live inside the water. We know there are fish there. And I know some of you love eating fish. But where were you going to get fish if there was no water? So God made sure that there is water. He provides water for some animals to live there. So you can see that bird up there. It is just flying over. It's looking for fish to eat. So he provides water for animals to enjoy. Good. Now, dear Lena, God also, he does not only provide water for animals, but I'm sure you have a garden at home. You need water to water your vegetables. Can you see there? So you need water for this to grow well. You use water. So what were you going to use if there was no water? Nothing. So God provides water to make sure that we plant our gardens and have green vegetables. Okay? Look at Nigiwe there. What is Nigiwe doing? Nigiwe is washing her hands using water. And we know now during the time for COVID-19, we are advised to wash our hands. So Nigiwe is washing her hands, is using water, running water. I'm sure you have also made something like this at your home. You are always washing your hands to make sure that you are healthy and you are safe. So God, the God who loves all that he created, because God loves Nigiwe, so he provided water so that Nigiwe will be able to wash her hands. Good. Oh, dear Lena, now we are going to sing a song. But the song is about land, it's about the sky, it's about water, the seas. So we are going to sing a very nice song. The song says, look very close to everything around you. Look up in the sky, down in the sea and land. And then all of this is nature. Okay? Dear Lena, these are the words of the song. So I'm sure you are ready now to sing with me. Are you ready to sing? Okay. Can we sing the song? Okay. First of all, let me just give you how the song will move. Alright? Okay? Alright, we are using those words. Let's sing the song now. Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. All of this is nature. Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. Look very close in everything around you. All of this is nature. Take care of nature just because you need it. Take care of nature just because you need it. All of this is nature. Alright. I hope, Yelena, you were singing this song and you really enjoyed it. Thank you, Lerato, for singing with us. Okay, dear Lena, this song says look very close in everything around you. Look up in the sky. Look down in the sea. Look at the land. All of these things that you can see, this is just nature. All of what you can see, it is nature. Okay? Good. Now, dear Lena, as you are watching, I'm sure you are sitting on a chair. Did God create that chair? No, He never created a chair. But where does the chair come from? The chair is made by human. It was made by people. They make the chair using wood. Where does wood come from? It comes from plants. The plants were created by God. So what does that mean? On earth, we have things that were made by people. And these things that were made by people, most of them, they make them from the things that were made by God. So a plant was made by God. So they take wood from the plant to make a chair. Right. And then there are other things that are made by people. We have a ball. A ball is made by people. We have a teddy. We have a doll. It was made by people. We have a skateboard. It was made by people. But now look at the cloud. What can you say about it? Was it made by people? Oh no. The cloud was made by God. A cloud, which means a cloud is natural. It is something that was made by God. And this side, we have a flower pot, that is carrying that flower there. Does it come from God? No, it was made by people. So people make a flower pot, but now on this flower pot, we have a flower, which is a natural thing. So God created a zebra, the mushrooms there, the plants, the dragonfly, the fish, crocodile, the frogs. All these were created by God. So now we have things that were created by God and we say they are natural. And those that were made by human and we say they are man-made. They are man-made. As I have said, dear Lena, even when human make things, but originally things come from God. Everything comes from nature. For example, the chair that we have used there, a chair comes from wood, and wood comes from nature. Yes. Okay, dear Lena, let us move on. I have been talking and talking. Now, dear Lena, it's your time. I want to be sure that you were following the lesson. I want to be sure that you were listening. Okay? Now, dear Lena, I want you to list at least 3 things. At least 3 things that were created by God. I want you to give me at least 3 things that were created by God. Also, I want you to mention at least 3 ways on how God takes care of nature. I've given you so many. So you are going to give me at least 3. Also, dear Lena, there is a list here. So from this list, I want you to classify them according to natural and man-made. So you will classify all these things as natural and man-made. So we have plants. We have animals, we have a ball, we have a river, we have a chair, we have paper, people, and dolls. So from this list, you are going to classify them as natural things and man-made things. Okay? Okay, dear Lena, let me help you answer these questions. For the first question, the things that were created by God. God created light. Created light. Number 2, God created plants. God also did what? He created rivers. So the plants, the light, and the rivers, they all come from God. Okay? God also provides water in showing that He takes care of nature. He provides the air, so you are breathing as you are sitting there, because God has provided what? Air. God also provides food to show that He takes care of all that He created. Okay. And then I've made you a very nice table over there. So I've made this beautiful table. So this table is classifying the natural things and the man-made. So plants are natural, animals, people, and the river. Those are natural. And then we have a chair, ball, paper, and dolls. Those are the man-made. Those are the man-made. Dear Lena, today we have learned that on earth, there are things that were created by God and things that were made by humans. Also, dear Lena, we have learned that God takes care of nature in many ways, which include providing food, water, air, and light. So these are the things that God does to show that He takes care of nature. Thank you so much, dear Lena, for listening. Thank you so much for following. I will be coming in our next lesson. But before I go, let's just sing the song again. Let's just sing the song that says God takes care of nature. Okay, let's do it. Just 1 minute. Okay? Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. All of this is nature. Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. Look very close in everything around you. Up in the sky, down in the sea and land. All of this is nature. Take care of nature just because you need it. Take care of nature just because you need it. All of this is nature. Thank you so much, dear Lena. I hope you are singing with me. We will meet in our next lesson. Over to you, Lerato.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngwenya. This was a very amazing lesson. Let's hope that when you come back, you give us a lesson as intriguing as this one.
Okay, thank you so much, Loretta.
So grade 5s and 6s, get closer to your screens because your social studies teacher, Gugu Nhlego, will be back after this infomercial.
Better Health, Better Life. It's another season on your favorite program, Better Health, Better Life, here on Eswatini TV.
Ayinibingelele kunemukele babukele emakhaya kulo hlelo iBetter Health, Better Life. Lona thulula hlelo ngunokuphila masangana.
It's all about our health, our better health today, and our better life tomorrow. In the midst of this global pandemic coronavirus, Better Health, Better Life brings you closer to your health professionals.
Ifake emlonyeni wakhe. Nangabe nje ngidla indvo legcwele mafutsa, lendvo ngidla.
So siyakhuthaza ukuthi lala abahlala nalala banashukela abafunde nabo ngaloshukela.
Watch out for another fresh season of Better Health, Better Life on Eswatini TV. It's getting bigger and better every season. The season with COVID-19 is a must to watch for everyone in every home. Better Health, Better Life, your gateway to a healthy living.
Make use of you. Make use of you when they don't use you. You know, some people make strong decisions in their minds, telling themselves I am useless, only to find out that they don't use themselves. I do not want to believe that there is anyone who is not capable of anything, capability which is defined by anything good that you can do. Doing which is defined by taking an action. People of action. Tell them you can when they say you can, not until they digest it. Break it down into smaller particles, then swallow it. Maybe I should take this into another tone. I was given a gift by a man of gift which glittered in my eyes as an amazing gift. If you do not strongly appreciate your gift, you do not appreciate you. If you do not appreciate you, then who should? Should I take this to the highest cloud so that those who do not see their beauty do not forget that they were created in a rib of man? In fact, I am trying to bring the facts of life which won't change the fact that you are of creation. Let things begin with you. See, you are created in an image of a creator who was there in the beginning of all things, according to John. Do not look down upon yourself because you'll make a huge mistake of moving away the image. Soft or hard moments, depending or undepending situations, be strong.
A very good afternoon, grade 5s and 6s. This is the third lesson for the day and you are learning social studies with teacher Kukun Hlego. My name is Lerato Mabilisa and also joining me in the studio is the sign language interpreter Nomcebo Dlamini. A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Lerato.
How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm alright. So today's topic is the San and the Khoikhoi.
Yes, Lerato.
What would you expect the viewer to have learnt by the end of the lesson?
I'm expecting the viewers, I'm expecting the learners at home to know or to mention the different names the San were called, and also to know or to explain who the San and the Khoikhoi were.
Okay.
This is what I want them to know.
Okay. Without wasting any time, please begin your lesson.
Okay. Thank you, Lerato. Learners at home, we are learning about the San and the Khoikhoi. And I hope everyone is now listening attentively on what we will be dealing with today. I am expecting you, learners at home, to know exactly what do we mean when we are talking about the San and the Khoikhoi. And another thing that is very important is you have to know, mention the different names that were used when the San were called. And again, we are going to look at the duties or the roles that were played by the males and females in the San society. And lastly, you are going to describe the relations or the relationship between the San and the Khoikhoi and state how the Khoikhoi and the San lived. Okay, now we are going to look at the key words here. We have got words that are mostly found in the lesson. For instance, clicks. When we are looking at this word click, we are talking about a short, sharp sound that is found in some African languages. The way we speak as Swazis, the way we speak as Xhosas, the way we speak is more or less the same. We took the clicks from the San. And we are also looking at excavation. What do we mean by excavation? We are talking about the digging up of old objects and remains from the underground for study. That is what we are talking about, excavation. And when we talk about a shaman, we can say a shaman is a religious specialist who was found among the San and was skilled in rock painting, which means this shaman was good at drawing at the pictures or drawing at the animals that they have hunted. So a clan is a group of people with common ancestors. For instance, the Mamba clan or the Dlamini clan. They have got common ancestors. And now we are looking at intermarriage. What do we mean when we speak about intermarriage? We are talking about a marriage that is done by two people who are coming from different ethnic groups. That is intermarriage. Making an example of a Swazi and a Mozambican. I can say that can be an intermarriage. Why? Because these people are coming from different ethnic group. Nomads. When we're talking about nomads, we are talking about people who do not live in one place for a long time. Why are they called nomads? It's because they are moving from one place to another in search of greener pastures. Since these people were hunting, they were hunters, so they could not stay in one place for a long time. And the last one is the Stone Age. What do we mean by Stone Age? As you can all know that this word is a stone, which means these people lived long time ago. A period when people used tools made out of stones. Okay, now we are talking about the San. We said they are found in the Southern African region. What do we mean by Southern African? This is not South Africa, but Southern African region, which means the places that are found below the line of the equator. Those places we are saying they are found in the Southern Hemisphere. Thus we are saying the San lived in the Southern African region from about 40,000 years, which means they long lived before the Khoikhoi arrived. They were the first to live in Southern Africa. What is good with the San is they lived in small groups. They were not in large groups. They were living in small groups of about 20 people or 50. And why were they doing that? Since they were hunter-gatherers, they could not find a lot of animals if they are in big numbers. That is why they decided that it is good for them to live in groups of 20 so that it enables them to get whatever they wanted. And they are found in the Kalahari Desert, Namibia, and Botswana. These countries are found in the southern hemisphere. That is why we said in the beginning the San lived in the southern African region. Now as we look at these places here, the Kalahari Desert, Namibia and Botswana, these places or these countries are located in the southern hemisphere. They lived a nomadic life. What do we mean when we are saying they are living a nomadic life? They were moving from one place to another, as I said in the beginning. They were living a life of looking for greener pastures for animals, as we know that they lived by hunting. They lived in caves, which means they did not have permanent houses like us as a Maswati. They lived in caves. We can just make an example. If they were to live here in Swaziland, they had to go to Mzimba where there are caves, so that they did not build permanent homes. So they lived in caves and rock shelters and also in the field. So in cases whereby there were no caves, they built huts from sticks and grass. Huts like this, like the round huts. Why? Because it was easy for them. When they were moving, they had to erect that structure and go and put it somewhere where they have discovered that now this place is rich with animals. Looking at the complexion, we are saying they were short and light skinned. So duties of women among the San, as we know that even in Maswati, we know that women have their own duties. They do not do things that are done by men. So in this case, we discover that the San women were responsible for collecting wild food, such as fruits and roots. Why? They could not go and hunt, as we know that they are women. So it was easy for them to collect the fruits and the roots. So since they did not have containers, they did not have buckets like us in Maswati. When we are collecting water, we know that we get buckets. But for them, they were using the ostrich eggshells as well as the tortoise shells. They used those for collecting water. And I think some of us, some of you, as young as you are, you can laugh saying, how can they collect water using the ostrich eggshells? It was their way of collecting water. That is how they discovered that with these shells they can get water. And they also collected bundles of grass to make mattresses to sleep on. As a Maswati, we know that we sometimes go and get likwane. Then from likwane we make mats whereby we use them when we are sleeping on. But in this case, we discovered that the San collected the grass and they made beads for decorating themselves. We are talking about women here. We like decorating ourselves. We want to look good. We want to look beautiful. So in order for them to look good and beautiful, they had to make beads for decorating themselves. And from the skins of the animals that they hunted, they make blankets and also clothing so that they cover themselves with the animal skins. And lastly, they also use red oak, libovu, to protect their skin. This is what we are doing today. We always put makeup on our faces, and they could not buy the makeup we are buying today, so they use libovu. But we only know as a Maswati that we use libovu when we are smearing makoti at home. But this time, they use it to protect their skin and also for decorating themselves. And also they collected firewood. That was the duty that was done by the San women. So also we are saying men do not do what the women were doing, so they have their own work that they are responsible for. So their duty as men was to go to the field to hunt the animals. And what were they using when hunting the animals? They used wooden bows and poisoned arrows. And they also used strings made from plants. And what were they going to do with the strings that were made from plants? They were to snare small animals like birds. And they also used spring hairs were pulled from their holes with long hooked sticks. They had to go and make sure that they get the spring hairs, and they use the holes with long hooked sticks. And then lastly, they dug holes that they covered with grass to make traps to catch bigger animals. This can be a play. Whenever you want to do something to get some hold of something, they dug the holes, and then they cover the hole with the grass. And then the animals will come running. Maybe they were shooting the animal, and then the animal escaped. Then the animal will find itself getting into the hole that was covered by the grass. And lastly, the men had to go to the lakes and rivers. Why? They were fishing. They go there to get fish, because we are saying they could not live like we do as a Maswati. Their way of living is much or less different from what we were doing. So looking at the meal that was made by the women for their men, we are saying the meal was made out of meat from wild animals along with wild plants. Remember, the men are responsible for hunting. They will bring the animals at home, and then the women will prepare with the wild plants and fruits and roots, and they will eat the food raw or roasted. Some people will ask, how can they eat raw meat? Okay, since they did not have clay or metal pots that they ate raw foods, they had to dry the meat. That is how they ate raw meat. They dried the meat, and they called that dried meat umqweba. That is what we call the biltong, and it can be stored also for future use. Now let's come to the specialist, the religious specialist that was found amongst the San. We are saying here, we are talking about the shaman. He was a religious specialist that was good at rock painting. We are saying he because he was a man. This shaman was not a woman, but it was a man. He was a mouthpiece. He was the one who was speaking on behalf of the San. His duty was to fast and keep himself in seclusion. These ways that were done by the shaman was more or less the same as our king. The king during Inkwala stays in seclusion. Also the shaman here, in order for the shaman to be perfect, he must be in seclusion, which led him to have dreams. He was responsible for doing the paintings on the rocks and the cave walls. He divines the whereabouts of game. He was responsible for telling them, where are the games found? Where are they hiding? This was the duty of the shaman, telling the San that, okay, now the games are found on this side of the place they were. So how do we know about the San? because we are talking about excavation here, we are also we must know, how do we know about them? The way that was used was examining things they left behind. Though we are saying they got some stories from relatives of the San that have been told, and they also through discoveries made by the archaeologists. Where to find the San rock paintings? We are saying here at Eswatini, they are found at Nsangweni. Sangweni is one of the places that is found in the Hoho region. They are also found in South Africa. They are also found in Botswana. And the type of drawings that they will find there were the types of animals that they have hunted. So now, we are now saying here, who were the Khoikhoi? Because we must know who were the Khoikhoi. They were also hunter-gatherers like the San. They were also hunter-gatherers like the San, which means they were also living a nomadic life. They could not be stationed in one place for a long time, since they could not get the animals, also the pastures, because with the Khoikhoi, what is different is that they were pastoralists. They were taming animals, but also the way they hunted the animals, it was more or less the one that was used by the San, by using the bows and the poisoned arrows. And they also used the traps used to hunt games, also trapped to hunt the animals. And then we are saying they were more or less living a life that was lived by the San. But what was different is that they tamed some of these animals. So they became herders and then they kept cattle. And what were they getting from the tamed animals? They got milk, they got meat, they got wool, also skins and bones from these animals that they have tamed. They were taller and they were stronger. Why were they now different from the San? Since we know that milk contains almost all the proteins that are needed by the body, thus the Khoikhoi are different from the San. That is why they were taller and also they were stronger, because of their improved diet, which included much protein from the milk that they got from the cows and the meat that they got from the animals. Where did they live? We are talking about the Khoikhoi now. They lived in round huts. This is more or less similar even with us as a Maswati. We do have round huts, but the difference is that their round huts were arranged in circles. The huts were made from frames of green branches planted into the ground that was bent over and tied together. I tried to draw such structures that looked like the round houses. Don't laugh at home, viewers. I am not a good drawer. I didn't do well my art and craft. But you can look at this round hut, and these are the plants that they use and the grass to cover on top. When you go to royal residences, you will find such houses, or umpagats, you will find such houses. They looked more or less the same. So these huts could be taken down and be erected in a new place. It's a pity that now youngsters, you don't know how these old people used to erect the round houses. After they have erected it, they will just move it. They are not going to start afresh like we have built a house made of bricks. But with the sticks here, it was easy for them to move it and go and erect it in another place. So cattle and sheep were kept within the village circle for safety at night. They were guarding, they were looking after the animals. That is why we said their round houses were arranged in circles, and then the kraal was found in the middle. So each village had a headman who made decisions such as where and when to move. I hope viewers at home, you are still following. We are talking about the Khois, the Khoikhoi. Sometimes they are called the Hottentots. So here, now we are looking at the duties of women amongst the Khoikhoi. We are saying they made ornaments from ivory to decorate themselves. This habit of decorating ourselves, it is not new. So now you can see that some of these things we are doing today was done long time ago by our grandparents. So even here, they made ornaments from ivory to decorate themselves. You can imagine the necklaces that we always put on. We are adding beauty to ourselves as women. And they also liked to wear necklaces made from copper and beads that they got from trading with their neighbors. So let us now go on and let's talk about the importance of cattle among the Khoikhoi, which means even today, a Maswati, if you are a Liswati man, you are looking forward to be known as a man because there is a kraal at your home. So importance of cattle among women, the importance of cattle among the Khoikhoi, we are saying cattle was a sign of wealth among the Khoikhoi, which means it is not new. Even in Maswati, once you have got a lot of cattle, they are regarding you as a wealthy Swazi. Animals were slaughtered for ritual purposes. We also know that we have Bojamlud at home that we don't kill at anywhere at any time, but we slaughter them for ritual purposes. They rode on oxen and used them to carry their goods. How do we know about the Khoikhoi? Though explorers, missionaries, and visitors and hunters who explored South Africa, they kept diaries. Diary is not something new. It is even today. We are keeping diaries. We are recording what we know. So they kept diaries and records of what they had seen during their journey. Through stories about the Khois, they passed down by the word of mouth, and archaeologists records about the Khoikhoi. And then how was the relationship between the San and the Khoikhoi before the arrival of the Europeans? Okay, we are saying here, they believed in life after death. There were intermarriages between the two groups. There was exchange of culture. They also traded among each other, which means even today we are believing that once somebody dies, there is life after death. So viewers at home, I have got questions for you that you have to answer. First question is saying, name the place where there is evidence. There is evidence of the San people in Eswatini. As I have said that this place is found in the Hoho region and it is known as Sangweni. Then state You have to state duties of the shaman among the San. We are saying the shaman was a mouthpiece of the spirits. He was responsible for doing the paintings on rocks and caves wall. What effects did the keeping of livestock have on the Khoikhoi? We are saying the Khoikhoi lived a healthy life. Why do we say they were living a healthy life? It's because the food they ate has proteins in them. The life of the Khoikhoi was almost the same as that of the San. Do you agree with the statement? Yes, I do agree with the statement. Why? Because they were both hunter-gatherers. They all lived a nomadic life. They all lived a nomadic life, a life of not staying in one place for a long time. And what were they doing? They were in search of greener pastures. Thank you, learners at home. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nhlego, for coming today. I'm hoping when you come again, you're going to give us another informative lesson as this one.
Thank you, Lerato.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to you two grade 5s and 6s for watching. Up next is the Form 1, Form 4 and Form 2 classes. So if you are in the following grades, get closer to your screens because Nogwazi will be back after this infomercial.
At this point, you shouldn't feel as if you do not have it. You have it for sure.
Find something you like doing.
Yeah.
Say invest in yourself.
I am your host, Dianza Dlamini, and you're watching Fame Unfiltered. Good night and God bless.
What do I do for a living? I make history. Sounds like a mystery in the present. I could ask for a present after this if we're all present. Sometimes I make people laugh, but I'm not a comedian. You do know this is a Nickelodeon, right? It's Eswatini. We do not have Cartoon Networks whatsoever. Let's get back to it. I make people laugh, cough, sniff, clear throats at the mention of clear thoughts. I make people smile for not long as the Nile River, with poems as long as the Nile River. I make the Jordan River pour out in people's eyes with some bit of salts added, then quickly slam those faces with a soothing line like, it's okay girl, men are idiots, or you'll never understand women, quit trying bro. Then the big smiling again. What do I do for a living? I make hands clap, fingers snap, human marvel, hearts appreciate, souls love, have their first sample feast. I don't know why, to the sky. I make people fall in love with me, yandering the corridors of wordplay, find awesomeness and healing in crippling the words we use in our daily conversations to drugs for our crippled souls. I make people fall in love with me, yandering the corridors of wordplay, find awesomeness and healing in crippling the words we use in our daily conversations to drugs for our crippled souls. Then after that, they'll add to that, they like the short poets. That's what I do for a living. For living the stage. Off to my hiding hole, asking the Holy Spirit to make me whole again, because for the whole time out I've been hiding behind this mask called smile, plastered in all the spots of paint called makeup and back up and down, sniffing tears back at my experiences they were snapping at my real life. What an exposure. At least I'll find closure in the fact that they don't know. They just hear the words delivered by a steady posture. Ask me what I do for a living. If you ask me, I make history in my own life. I hope I'm not a mystery in my own life. I'm a poet, P-O-E-T, person of extraordinary thinking, pouring out enclosed tragedies, treasures. Put your tea in it.
Usiseka, uvuseleleke, wakheke moyeni nomculo wetenkolo bahlabeleli balapha eSwatini. Sikulethele abahlabeleli abadala nabo lapha sikhula emculweni wetenkolo bahlabela bukhoma lapha eSwatini. Siphinde sixoxisane kabanti ngalaba kwentako emsebentini wabo wekuhlabelela igospel konke kungidinisa simakathe. Ungaphuthelwa ngomculo wegospel khona lapha eSwatini TV.
Welcome back to Eswatini TV. You are still tuned in to Home Study. My name is Nogwazi Dlamini. Right now we are doing Form 1 and Form 2 English language with Anele Sitole, who is with me already in the studio. Also joining me in the studio is our sign language interpreter, Nombumelelo Hadebe. A very good afternoon to you, Anele. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. So today we're doing Introduction to Effective Writing.
Yes.
What are you expecting your Form 1 and Form 2 learner to have learnt by the end of this lesson?
Okay, my Form 1 and Form 2, I'm expecting you to be able to define writing and also to explain the reason for writing, and also you have to understand the basics for writing and identify the different types of sentences, use punctuation in the sentences, and also be able to construct your own sentence at the end of the lesson.
All right, Form 1s and Form 2s, I hope you're ready for your lesson. And of course, a reminder that we are live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. If you have any questions, please feel free to use our WhatsApp number. Anele, you may please begin with your lesson.
Okay, dear listener, in the previous lesson, we were doing dear learner, in the previous lesson we were learning about reading. So we discovered that there are very close relationships between reading and writing. So reading, we know that it is a basic tool or skill that we acquire before we start. A person acquires before he or she starts writing. So this is also shown by the way that when we read, we decode some letters and words that form sentences into our brains to build the language that we are learning. In this case, we are learning English language. So reading also is an exposure to the language through that offers a wide range of vocabulary and sentences. It feeds your brain with the correct language structures. It also extends the vocabulary growth by exposing you to new words. Reading and also improves the spelling, and also by visually exposing your eyes to words, and all this improves your writing skills. So how does this improves your writing skills? Because when you are writing a spelling and when you are writing, you get to discover that the spelling is wrong by the fact that at the back of your mind you have read something on you have read something on that a particular topic, and you know the spelling that is used in those in that particular writing. So there are some useful tools that are used to benefit you in reading. These are newspaper, magazine, and novels. How are these newspapers and magazines and novels useful? They help us to build up, they help us to update us with the current affairs or topical issues, which is ideal for writing argumentative and discursive compositions. And then the magazine, how does it help us? It offers a wide range of information and helps to catch up on new trends and are ideal for argumentative and discursive compositions. And the novels, they add up to our descriptive skills, painting a mental picture, and also equip us with the skill of telling a story in a narrative composition. So, dear Lena, these are the materials that we usually use to help us to be able to write in the near future, which means that our syllabus requires that we should be expected to write to the editor, write an article, an advertisement. So when you have read the newspaper, you will be able to write to the editor during the exam and also be able to write an article and an advertisement, because that is where we find it. We find it in the newspaper. And then for us to be able to write the narrative and descriptive compositions, we get that skill from reading novels. So when you read the novel, you get to be able to describe to be descriptive and also be able to tell a story. You will notice that when you read a novel, you find yourself captured into the whole scenario, and it is like you are in a movie zone. You are watching a movie. So that is what one of the skills that you get to acquire in the novel, to describe and also to be narrative, to be a good storyteller. And then when you write an argumentative and expository composition, you get your skill from reading the magazine. So we know that in the magazine there are so many articles that you find there. There are people that are selling things and people that are talking about the current trends on fashion. So if your essay is based on describing or discussing the trends between before and now, you are able to do that if you have read the magazine, because it will give you a clear picture of what you are talking about. So which basically means that as a person, you need to read widely the different pieces that I have offered you, so that that is where you come across. Because it helps you to acquire the skill of reading and also of writing well and also presentable work for the examination. So, dear Lena, now we come to the gist of the lesson of today. What is writing? Writing is applying the language that you have been reading. Writing is applying the language, applying the language that you have been reading in a written form. For example, writing a letter or a composition. Writing is a skill we receive and assimilate as a language into our system. how do we receive the language? By reading. Writing also connects easily
Anele, can I please interrupt your lesson? Could you please take a little bit of an infomercial break? Viewers at home, we'll be right back after this.
Your favorite music show is back. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send in your shout-outs. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
Wipe the salty water from your face. Open up all your gates. Haven't you heard that he is risen? Yes, the King of Kings is risen. The Lord of Lords is risen. He is risen for the sole reason that in this
Welcome back to Home Study. You are still tuned in to Eswatini TV. This is English language for the Form 1s and the Form 2s with Anele Sithole. Anele, I think you may continue with your lesson.
Okay. Writing also connects easily as we have to take out, connects easily with writing because we have to take out what we took into our system when we were writing. So when we were reading, so we use language then to produce our own written pieces. So there are basics to writing. The one thing you need to ask yourself about before you start writing is, why do we write? We write to send a message to the reader. The person who reads the what you have written has to get a message from what you have written. We have to try and make sure that we are sending the message very clearly. We also write to apply our thoughts for someone else to read. So you will notice that in poetry, for example, when someone writes a poem, he is expressing his thoughts about a particular event or a particular situation that he has witnessed or something that he has experienced. And also, we write to express our feelings about a particular subject or situation. So that is when we do poetry as well. And also in the narrative composition, what you have experienced, you will find yourself writing it down and expressing your feelings on how that thing, how you felt about that thing happening to you. When you write, you need to organize your work. How do you organize your work? When we write, we need to organize our ideas properly. If your ideas are not well organized, the reader may get confused. So we don't want to confuse the reader when we write. So the information must be as clear for better understanding. So there are basic levels that you have to follow in organizing your ideas. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you need to know what the essay is about. The topic you are given should guide you to know to write about what the essay is about. What made you want to write the essay? The broad topic covers the main ideas you want to convey to the reader. So, to give information or detail about a particular event. So that is why you write. The reason you are writing the essay. And it is important that you stick to the limits of the topic when given to write about something. Avoid talking about something outside of the topic. For example, if you are given a topic that says the marketplace on a Saturday, write about what happens at the marketplace on a Saturday, not any other day. The idea here is that you are creating an image to the reader about the marketplace on a Saturday. If the reader reads your described the way you describe the Saturday on or the marketplace on a Saturday, when the reader goes to the marketplace on any other day, she will definitely find the marketplace in a different form, because you have described it, and she will wish to see it on a Saturday the way you have described it. You have described it in your writing. Another one could be, children today are spoiled. So if you're given this topic can be argued and discussed at length because it is broad. There is so much you can talk about. You need to break it down into chunks that are easy to digest. Focus on the aim of the essay. What do I want to achieve as a writer? In this case, you may be sending a message across to parents that children today are spoiled, but maybe pointing out the things they do to spoil them in the discussion, or to educate the reader about how to avoid spoiling children. Okay? Dear Lena, now that we have dealt with the levels of writing, we need to we need to start construction. The next level that we are moving on to is to construct a sentence. What is a sentence? I know that even at primary you were singing about what a sentence is. We know that a sentence is starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. But now let us go deep into the sentence today. A sentence, let us remind ourselves that a sentence is a group of words that express a complete thought. It can explain a statement, question, command, and suggestion. In a sentence, once the idea or message is complete, that the reader understands what you are saying and the sentence. It can be added by using simple punctuation mark like a full stop or a question mark. So now, dear Lena, let us look at the following paragraph that contains different sentences. As a writer, you will come across, as a reader, as you are reading your work, most of the work that we read is in paragraphs. So the paragraph has different sentences in it. But today we are just going to look at the sentences in our paragraph. So now let us grab our a paper and a pencil and write the paragraph together. As we are writing the paragraph, we are going to be numbering the sentences one by one. So let us start. One of the most hated chores for many people is ironing clothes. Sentence number 1. Let me repeat. One of the most hated chores for many people is ironing clothes. Sentence number 1. Who does that anyway? Sentence number 2. Who likes that anyway? Sentence number 2. Ironing is not a task that can be completed quickly or thoughtlessly. Sentence number 3. Ironing is not a task that can be completed quickly or thoughtlessly. Sentence number 3. Each piece of clothing must be handled individually so ironing a basket of clothing can take hours. Sentence number 4. Each piece of clothing must be handled individually so ironing a basket of laundry can take hours. Sentence number 4. After ironing a piece of clothing meticulously, which entails smoothing out the fabric, following the seams and getting creases right, you need to place it on a hanger as soon as possible. Sentence number 5. If you do not follow these directions carefully, it might become wrinkled and you have to start over. Sentence number 6. Perhaps that is why ironing is not a favorite chore, because it requires extreme attention to detail from the beginning to the end. Sentence number 7. Go on, iron your clothes. Sentence number 8. Now, dear Lena, let us focus on the sentences now. The types of sentences. Firstly, we have the simple sentence. A simple sentence has a subject and a predicate. It can be categorized in different types according to function. So, if it can begin with a capital letter and end with a full stop. It can be a declarative or statement. It gives information to the reader. Now let us look at our sentences that we have written. Sentence number 1, you'll notice that it is a simple sentence. It expresses a single idea as a subject. One of the most hated chores for many people. What is being talked about is the subject. What is done by the subject is called the predicate. Is ironing. Sentence number 2 is also a simple sentence. Remember that I said a simple sentence can express a single idea, then it can also ask information, and here the sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a question mark. It is asking for information, and then this is known as an interrogative question type of a sentence. Then, dear Lena, when we go to sentence number 4, we will notice that it ends with an exclamation mark. It begins, it's called the type of a sentence there is called an exclamatory sentence. It begins with a capital letter and ends with an exclamation mark. It shows us that emotions here have been tempered and raised. The person here is overwhelmed by the idea of ironing. She dreads the moment of ironing, of ironing laundry. Sentence number 8 begins with a capital letter and ends with an exclamation mark as well. The message conveyed here has shown a command. It is an imperative type of sentence, as much as it ends with an exclamation mark but it is different from sentence number 4, because in sentence number 4 we notice that the exclamation mark is showing emotions, and in sentence number 4, in sentence number 8, the writer here is expressing a command. Then we have the compound sentence. It consists of 2 or more simple sentences joined together to form one sentence. They are joined by the use of coordinating conjunctions and correlative conjunctions, which, for example, for, nor, neither, nor, etc. Sentence number 6 is an example of a compound sentence. It has 2 simple sentences connected by a conjunction and. Then we move on to complex sentences. A complex sentence joins a simple sentence and a subordinate clause. What is a subordinate clause? A subordinate clause is that sentence that does not express a full thought. It cannot stand alone, but it does not express a complete thought. When you are writing a complex sentence, you use subordinate conjunctions to form the complex sentence. The complex sentence. These are the although, because, until. Sentence number 7 is a complex sentence because there is a simple sentence and has been joined with a subordinate clause by using subordinating conjunction because. Now, dear learner, now that we have learned about sentences in our writing, let us do the activity. Complete the following copy the following sentences, identify the type, and underline the subject with 1 line and predicate with 2 lines. Dear learner, that is the end of our lesson. I hope we have learned a lot today. In our next lesson, we will be doing the elementary style in writing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anita, for your lesson, and we'll be seeing you soon, I'm sure, for more English language.
Yes, you will. I'm coming back for the next lesson.
Thank you so much. Form 4s, get closer to your screens. Up next is English language with Kombisa Lukele. We'll be right back after this.
Eswatini, your favorite show, is back. The Spotlight Season 2 returns with an exciting new twist. We are taking the kingdom's #1 music talent search digital. One lucky winner will drive away in a brand new Kia Picanto, get a recording deal, and walk away with fantastic prizes, including a trendy Huawei P40 Pro. This year, the application process has been made better, easier, and brighter. To apply, simply follow the application process on the Spotlight and MTN Eswatini social media platforms. And remember to download the Ayoba and Music Time apps on your mobile device to complete your registration into the Spotlight Season 2. Visit yellowhub.co.sz/the spotlight/apply. The audition dates are as follows. Manzini, 26th September to the 1st of October. Shiselweni, the 3rd to the 8th of October. Hoho, 10th to the 15th of October. Lubombo, 17th to the 22nd of October. Shine bright like the star that you are on the Spotlight Season 2.
Why should we pay our TV license?
The content on our local television is actually more up to date. The industry is enhanced.
It is a criminal offense not to pay your TV license and attracts a fine of
500 emalangeni or 6 months imprisonment.
And the industry is definitely blooming, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we have for you. But we'll be right back just after the break, and we'll give you more of Miss V.
I pay my TV license. That's why I can enjoy the benefits of an enhanced industry and keep track with recent transformation.
Mommy, who pays for a TV license and what are they paying for?
The owners of TV set and the gadget with a tuner like DVD set have to pay.
Pay your TV license at NetBank with the details provided on screen. Or use your cell phone via the mobile money pay. You could also visit your nearest post office and pay there. Pay your TV license via Eswatini Mobile Imali. Any TV device retailer can purchase a license to trade. Pay your TV license and enhance the industry.
Your favorite music show is back. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send in your shout-outs. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
Welcome back to Home Study, and a very good afternoon if you have just joined us, especially if you are in Form 4. We are doing English language right now for the Form 4s, of course, with Kombisa Lukele, who is already with me in the studio. Already also joining me in the studio is our sign language interpreter, Nomcebo Dlamini. My name is Nogwazi Dlamini. Kombisa, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm very well, thank you, Nogwazi. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How was your weekend?
My weekend was cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just cold.
Yeah, it was just cold. But then I was indoors, then everything went well.
Everything has to go well. I understand we're doing introduction to informal writing today.
That's correct, Nogwazi. We are doing introduction to informal letter writing, what is popularly known as a friendly letter.
Okay, all right. What are you expecting your learners to have learned by the end of the lesson?
The main objective here is to help the learner write effective informal letters or effective friendly letters.
All right, okay. Yeah. That's just about it.
That's just about it. Yeah. It sums up everything that we'll be doing actually.
Okay, Form 4s, I hope you are ready for your lesson. And a reminder, Form 4s, that we are live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please feel free to use our WhatsApp number. Kombisa, you may please begin with your lesson.
Thank you very much, Nogwazi. Good day to the viewer at home, dear Form 4s. This is English language. We are continuing with our writing even for this lesson. So last week Friday we were here, we were talking about the informal register, and then we were looking at informal register versus formal register. Just to have a recap of what we talked about in our previous lesson, which was on Friday. So on your screens right now, you will have two columns, that one for informal register and then the other one is for formal register, which is basically language, as we said. So we've got these two. Just to go through a quick recap, or rather to do a quick recap on what we talked about, we talked about the fact that in informal writing, we use short sentences, right? In informal writing, we use what we call short sentences. That will be your simple sentences that are going to have maybe one verb and also one subject. So that is what a simple sentence is, because we are communicating in a friendly way. But yet at the same time, in formal writing, we use full sentences such as that which you call complex sentences. And then you might remember that complex sentences are those sentences that carry with it a dependent and an independent clause. That is, both of those will be in a complex sentence. So we can use that, which basically means that when you're writing formally, you tend to use longer sentences than when you're writing informally. All right, so continuing. In informal writing, we said that it is acceptable to use what we call contractions, and such as I'm, such as maybe another example will be I'd. So instead of this side, when we're writing formal, we are saying I am. So we're using the full word, the full phrase I am instead of the contraction I am. Again, I am instead of the contraction I am. Again, in contraction we can probably say I have, so which basically that will be an I apostrophe VE, and then while in formal writing we are going to use the full phrase I have. So those are contractions. We also went on to talk about the fact that in informal writing you can also use what we call the active voice. What is the active voice? The active voice is basically where the subject here is directly doing the action. So for example, I completed what? I completed the application form. So here is the subject, I. So it's directly doing the action, completed the application form. Then yet, on formal writing, we said that you use what we call the passive voice. That will be the application form has been completed, as an example here. The application form has been completed. So if you pay attention or close attention to the two, I completed the application form and the application form has been completed. You will notice that in the passive voice, you are going to the subject, actually it's the receiver in this case of the action, other than when in the active voice you have got what? The subject in this case being the one who is actually actively and directly performing the action. We went on to say in informal writing we use what we call phrasal verbs, and then phrasal verbs are basically phrases that have got what? That contain a verb and a preposition. So we have a phrasal verb such as I'll look into the matter, as an example. So we can say that I'll look into what? Into the matter, if we would complete this example here. Yet at the same time, when we are talking about formal writing, you are not going to say I will look into. Rather, you are going to use an informal language and say I will do what? I will investigate. Then you can continue to say I will investigate the matter. So instead of looking into, we are going to do what? We are going to investigate. So moving forward, when we move forward, we also said that in informal writing, okay, let's go to the next slide. Here, in informal writing, we can use what we call emotive language, all right? Emotive language, that is, it allows for you to express your opinions, to express your sentiments, all right? But then in formal writing, we use polite language. You can't be direct and say, I am angry at whatever that is happening, right? So you don't do that in formal writing, but in informal writing, you can be able to use that. You can even use exclamation marks that show an emotion. We know that an exclamation mark will show an emotion, so you can use that. Yet in formal writing, we cannot use that. We went on to say that in informal writing, you can also use abbreviations. You know, you should note that there's a difference between an abbreviation and what? And an acronym, right? So there's an abbreviation and then there's an acronym. So here, these are abbreviations such as photos, TV. This is an abbreviation for this word, photograph, right? Then we call them a photo. When it's in the plural form, then photos, then it's an abbreviation for the word photographs, which is a noun. And then TV is an abbreviation for the word television. So we can use photos and TV, those kind of abbreviations for informal writing. Yet in formal writing, we need to use the full form of the word, which is photographs, which is television, and these are just examples. And then continuing, in formal writing, we went on to say that in informal writing, we can use what we call imperatives. And what are imperatives? Basically, these express a command. These are expressions, rather, that are expressing actually a command, such as call me. All right, call me as soon as possible. So here, this word call me right here is a command. It's telling you what you need to do. Right. It leaves you with little of a choice. Yet in informal writing, we said that we can't use we can't use imperatives, which means that we use non-imperatives. One thing that I want you to look at right now, it's these two sentences that I have here as an example. Look at this one for imperatives and then this one for non-imperatives. So we've got what here? In the informal one, we've got call me as soon as possible. Sometimes we can say ASAP. That is what other people do say. Yet in formal writing, you are not going to say call me, be direct. You're going to say I am looking forward to hearing from you. So that is, it equates to the message of calling me. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you at the earliest time of your convenience, not as soon as possible. So that is how we write when it comes to informal and versus formal writing. But as much as we are writing informally, that is, we are using a friendly register, there is a limit though. It does not necessarily mean that we need to use wholly what we call a chatty language. There are certain things that you need to be careful of. You need to be careful of certain things. You don't need to get too informal, right? When do you get too informal? Avoid using slang. What is slang? We have got what? We have got an example here. If you know my mom kind of like freaks out, that is not accepted grammatically correct English language, right? It may be informal writing, but then it is not accepted, right? So you cannot say, my mom kind of like freaks out when I tell her about my boyfriend, and then even then use what? BF. So that is not acceptable. This is academic writing, okay? So again, we also go on to, as another example of getting too informal, avoid using words shortened to look phonetic. That is, to look the way that they sound. And that will be, or even using SMS or even what we call chatty language. So the SMS language is not acceptable. An example would be, how y'all doing? So these aren't words that you're going to find in the dictionary, right? So this means that even when you are writing a friendly register, even if you are writing to a friend, for academic purposes, you are not allowed to use such language, all right? Even this one, how are you? Yeah, this is just a letter, it's not a word. So this again is a letter, you, it's not a word. So I can see what I see, a consonant sound there. I see a vowel and a consonant. So these aren't words. So we don't use this. And again, how are you all doing will be the correct form of this. How y'all doing? So the correct form is how are you all doing? Instead of writing how are you, I'll pronounce it like that because that is what it is. So you will have to write what? How are you? Okay, so that is just a recap of what we talked about in our previous lesson. So today I want us to look at what? Informal, or we can say email writing. Informal letter or an email. So don't get confused if you find the question that it says write an email to a friend. It's kind of the same thing as writing a letter. It's just that we used letters back then. Now people use emails. So it's kind of the same thing. Don't get confused about that you've never written an email. It's not a problem. The important thing here is the language that you're going to use. Let's look at this one. An informal letter or even an email, but we are going to refer to this as a letter. That is a friendly letter or informal letter. It is written for a non-professional, or rather for non-professional situations. Okay, it is written for non-professional situations, such as when you are writing to a relative, such as when you are writing to your friend, such as when you're writing to your peers, and your peers might be your colleagues, and then colleagues maybe would be your schoolmates. So you will use that, a friendly register, or maybe one of your schoolmates there. So here we're saying we have what? That's a schoolmate. So it could be that too. And then moving forward, we also say that when you write an informal letter, make sure you always ask yourself the question. This is important. Actually, it's not just even in informal letters, but in every writing, for every purposes. Make sure you always ask yourself, what am I writing for? So what you are writing for, that equates to what we call the purpose. This is going to inform your style of writing. How are you going to express yourself? What kind of register are you going to use? All right. So the answer to this question then will have an effect on how you write. E.g., are you writing to congratulate? Are you writing to send an invitation, an apology? Are you writing to show sympathy, or are you writing to advise? This is going to inform the kind of language, the kind of words, that is the choice of words that you are going to use in order for you to meet this demand here, in order for you to meet this purpose that you set out to write, you set out writing to achieve. So here is the basic structure of what? Of an email or of a friendly letter. We are going to have a greeting. We are going to have an introduction. We are going to have body paragraphs. We are also going to have what? A conclusion, or I would rather prefer calling it a closing rather than a conclusion, because this is an informal letter. We don't have to formalize it with a formal conclusion. So I'd rather prefer it as a closing when referring to it than just to say it is a conclusion. So let's now look at the elements of an introduction to a formal letter. How does a formal letter look like? How do we introduce an informal letter? How do we introduce that one? So in your introduction to an informal letter, you need to be, they have what we call a short introduction. That is generally, they have what we call a short introduction. So that will be a sentence or two. All right, it can be just one sentence or then two sentences. So basically, it is that short. So in your introduction, you want to be friendly. Okay, you want to be friendly in your introduction and also show that you are the writer in this case, you have a personal relationship. Okay, you have a personal relationship with your audience. The audience in this case would be the reader. Okay, so by showing that personal relationship, this acts as what? An icebreaker, because you don't want to get or come across as too serious. For who? For your reader, for your friend, for your relative. So you don't want to come across as formal and structured and too serious, but then you want to just sound like, okay, fine, this is a friend, and then we know each other and we know each other at a personal level. So I will use that icebreaker, right? In my introduction, even if I'm going to talk about something that is serious, or even if I'm going to talk about something that is light, all right, so still I have to show that friendliness, because that is being friendly. Imagine a case where you are supposed to write a letter and give an advice to your friend who is, you can see, is gaining weight, and then you have to write and probably advise your friend on how to lose weight, and then you say, I'm writing to advise you on how to lose weight. All right? Stay away from chocolate. Right from the introduction. How do you think your friend is going to receive that? It's possibly going to be a 10 off. So immediately they'll just shift it aside. Say, okay, you know what? This one is trying to get cheeky with me, or think of themselves as better or knowledgeable. You don't want that. So you want to sound friendly to them. Okay, imagine again, you can be writing to your uncle. Now it's not a friend, but you're writing to an uncle and it's the school holidays. You want to go there and probably spend some few weeks with them. And then you write, dear uncle, I'm writing to say to you, I'm coming over to stay for 2 weeks. So again, that is too blunt and impolite. So your uncle would not take that in a good way. So you don't want that. So you do want that icebreaker. We're going to see what an icebreaker is in the next sentence that we'll be looking at. Also, when you're writing an introduction to an informal letter, you have to state the purpose of your letter. That is, why are you writing today? All right. Here, this is not just an introduction again to an informal letter. All introductions in academic writing, they have to state the purpose of writing in them. They have to carry the purpose of writing on that particular day. The reader needs to have an idea of what to expect in the rest of the writing right from the introduction. So it's not just for friendly letters, but for every essay that you're going to write, it is important, be it a report, be it whatever else that you'll be writing, an article for a newspaper, it should be reflected in what? In the introduction. So that is important, the purpose of your writing today. Why are we saying the purpose of your writing today? This suggests that you do communicate on a regular basis. You do write letters to each other. You do write emails to each other. But then what is the purpose of writing on that particular day? So that is the thing that is important. So basically, like we said here, generally all introductions in writing should show that. So I've got this simple question that we'll be going through together in this lesson. So your close friend has recently tested positive. So that is, your close friend has recently tested positive for COVID-19 and has been told to self-isolate. We know that is what happens. So you have a close friend of yours and he or she has recently tested positive for COVID-19 and then has been told to self-isolate. For somehow you do get to learn that he or she's not taking it right. So somehow it is affecting that friend of yours. And then you have to write a letter of motivation to him or her. You are doing what? You are writing a letter of motivation to him or her. So you are motivating your friend in that particular, who is in that particular situation or predicament. So let's look at that one. Remember, we said that before you even set out to write, there are certain things that you need to go through, which is called the question analysis. It is important. Question analysis is very important. Make sure you go through question analysis every time you have to write. There are certain things that you need to identify. And one of them is what? Is the task. Right? What is the task? What is it that I'm writing? Here in this case, the task is we are writing a letter. Okay. So that's the task. That's the one thing that we need to do. We have to use language. The form has to take that of a letter. The structure has to take that of a letter. So you immediately summon everything, every detail that you have about letter writing. You know, I'm writing a letter. It says so. Write a letter. This is where it says write a letter. That is the task that you're doing. So, and then you go on to ask yourself the question, who is my audience? Who am I writing for? That is important. Who am I writing for? That is your audience. That is important again. You will find these details in the question. So the question here says, write a letter of motivation to him or her. And him or her, we have had that synopsis or that background there. Your close friend. Here is it. Your close friend. So your close friend will be your audience. Right. So it's a friend. You are writing a letter to a friend. We are writing what? A letter to a friend. So you have the task. You have the audience. Now you need to ask yourself what? The purpose. Purpose is, why am I writing? What is it that I want to achieve by writing this piece that I'm writing? What do you want to achieve? You are told to motivate. It's a write a letter of motivation. There is motivation there. That is your purpose of writing that particular day. You're writing not to say hi, not to find out how they are doing. Yes, you are going to do that because that's socially, that is how we get to relate with our friends. We always find out how they are doing. We are not writing to congratulate or to advise or to do whatever, but we are writing to motivate, which is our purpose. So the purpose is you are writing to motivate. That's the important thing. So this, what we've just done, is what we call a question analysis. Something that you have to go through every time you are writing. You have to go through what? Question analysis, so that you find out the task. What is it that you're doing? Also find out the audience. Also find out your purpose. What is it that you want to achieve? Let us look at these two slides. Or rather these two examples which are on your screens right now. These would be an attempt, which is basically would be the introduction to what? To the letter. And we need to compare the two. Which one would you say it is written well? The first one here, I'll call this first one A, and then we are going to have B here. A says, Dear Sparks. This is what we call a salutation. It needs to be there. Right, it's a greeting. We refer to it as a greeting. The others side. So this is supposed to be salutation. So we referred to it as a greeting. And dear is an informal, right? Okay, rather, it's a way that you are showing what? That you are greeting that particular friend of yours. So here, my friend, I decided to call my friend Sparks. And so here's this one. Thank you for your recent letter. It was so saddening to hear that you tested positive for corona. However, I know you will beat this. So this will be my introduction to that one. So let's look at introduction B. We'll come then and dissect each of these two. Introduction B says, I heard that you have the coronavirus and I'm very scared. This virus is no joke. Many people have died from it. So you must be very careful, my friend. Think about that. So think about these two. Which of the two would you, immediately having read that introduction, you'd probably toss aside? Should you be the one, let's just imagine you are the one who's receiving this letter and you have tested positive for corona, and then you get these two letters. And then which of these introductions is going to turn you off? And then you'll just shrink your paper and then probably throw it to the nearest dustbin, that is. And here I want us to now look at the two and look at, okay, obviously I think the answer would be, if you were to receive B, you're not even going to consider even continuing with what, with that letter, but you'd rather just toss it aside. Let's look at A and B and see what is wrong with B as far as the purpose is concerned. Is it achieving the intended purpose? Right? So that is the thing. So let's look at A. A says, thank you for your recent letter. This is what we call what? You are showing that you know each other, you communicate with each other regularly. So this basically is showing what? The relationship that you have. It's a friendly one, right? It is a friendly relationship. You communicate with each other regularly. And it was so saddening to hear that you tested positive for corona. Right. This is appropriate language because we expect that to be, we expect it to be like that. It is saddening to hear that someone has, a close friend of yours has tested positive for corona. So you are going to use that word. Also, however, this is what changes everything. You state what has happened. It is so saddening that you tested positive for corona. However, so immediately you say, however, you show that no, I'm bringing in a positive light to this negative, this sadness that I've just talked about. So I'm bringing in a positive light. That positive light would be, however, I know you will beat this. This is what we call personalizing, right? You are personalizing your writing. I know, the fact that you know, you show that you know your friend. This is your friend. This is not a stranger, right? You know this is your friend. So I know you will beat this. And this is so motivational, right? In nature, you will beat this. I'm confirming, I'm telling you, I'm reassuring you that you will beat this. It is so reassuring. And that's the one thing that is important here. And then we move on to the next one and then compare it to the one that we just talked about. Let's just clear this one. So here, Sparks, I heard that you have the coronavirus. I heard that you have the coronavirus. And this sounds so insensitive, right? You don't want to come across as insensitive, especially in such situations. And I'm very scared. If you're scared, then you are not positive. Your friend is positive. And then you say you are scared. Imagine then how your friend would feel like at that particular moment. This virus is no joke. Again, what are you hoping to do here when you're saying that this virus is no joke? So many people have died from it. So you must be very careful, my friend. This is no way next to being motivational, which means that then you failed your task. Okay, it means that you failed your task. So make sure that you use the correct language. Okay, always use the correct language whenever you are doing what? Whenever you are writing, you want to achieve the purpose. Okay, the purpose is important for you to achieve the purpose by using what? The correct language. So we do come to the end of our lesson today, where we are looking at the introduction to informal writing, and then we specifically looked at the introduction to that friendly letter.
Thank you so much, Kombisa, for that. It was really informative, and we hope that the Form 4s really enjoyed it, and we'll be seeing you soon.
You will be. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Form 4s, do not go anywhere. Up next is mathematics for you guys with Nhlanhla Ngomane. We'll be right back after this.
The change in technology, out-of-home digital media is designed to grab the attention of people who are always on the go. You can now watch your favorite show, Usile Breakfast Show and Dinzaba at 7 on your favorite YouTube channel.
It's simple. You can stream these shows by following these quick, easy steps. Number 1, open YouTube. Number 2, search for Eswatini TV and click on Eswatini TV. Number 3, after you had entered on Eswatini TV, look for Dinzaba or KPS. And while you at it, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell button to get notifications of our video uploads and streams. And lastly, enjoy the stream. Stay home and watch Eswatini TV. Stay safe.
Return my son to me. I'm going to go get him.
Ow, it hurts! Hey, I haven't even touched you yet. Stop being a baby. Kandimba! Get back here! Kandimba! Kandimba! Where are you?
What's with that face? You don't feel well? How did your interview go?
Bad. Really bad.
Well, I'd like to have a cup of coffee, please.
A very warm welcome back to our viewers, and a very good afternoon if you have just joined us. This is Home Study on Eswatini TV. My name is Nogwazi Dlamini. Right now we are doing Form 4 Mathematics with Nhlanhla Ngomane, who is already with me in the studio. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Nogwazi. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. We're doing trigonometry today.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I was just telling you about my experience with trigonometry a bit earlier. But what are you expecting your Form 4 learners to have learned by the end of this lesson?
By the end of the lesson, I expect my learner to be able to identify the conditions under which the trigonometry, the sine formula is used, to be able to state and use the sine formula to calculate angles and sides of triangles, and also to be able to use the sine formula to calculate the area of a triangle.
All right, thank you very much for that, Nhlanhla. Form 4s, I hope you are ready for your lesson. You may please begin with the lesson, sir.
Thank you, Nogwazi. Good afternoon, my dear learner. You may be wondering, why do we learn trigonometry? Well, triangular designs are used in construction of buildings. It also allows the builders to correctly lay out curved wall, figure the proper slope of a roof, or the correct height and rise of a stairway. You can also use trigonometry at home to determine the height of a tree on your property without the need to climb dozens of meters in the air. Also, angles are used in finding the position at which the rays of the sun strike the earth. This helps in classifying the 4 seasons in a year. My dear learner, Knowledge of the following concepts will help you to progress smoothly during our lessons. You should know the trigonometry of right-angled triangles, angles from straight lines, triangles, bearings, polygons, and vectors. Also, you should know the sine, cosine, and tangent of obtuse angles. My dear learner, in your junior secondary, you assign names to a right-angled triangle depending on the angle that is given. Let us look at our triangle. We have triangle ABC with a side A, side B, and side C. So we name the side C, which is opposite the right angle, the hypotenuse. We name the side that is opposite the given angle, which in our case is side A, the opposite side. And we also name the side that is next to the given angle. In our case, it is side B, the adjacent side. Then one of the formulas that we use in relation to right-angled triangles is the Pythagoras' rule. The Pythagoras' rule states that the square of the longest side, which in our case is C, the hypotenuse, is equals to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. We also learned the three trigonometric ratios that also use a right-angled triangle. Those trigonometric ratios are the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. The sine ratio is given by the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse, and the cosine ratio is given by the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Also, the tangent ratio is given by the adjacent side divided by the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So these are the three trigonometric ratios that we learned in our junior secondary, which we apply in a right-angled triangle. Now let's look at the following examples. In the diagram, we are given these triangles and we are asked to calculate the length AB. So we are first going to concentrate on the right-angled triangle first, because the four formulae that I've stated only work with right-angled triangles. So let's look at the first question. Calculate the length AB. So the length AB, so this is the length that we want. So from the right-angled triangle, we are going to use the Pythagoras' rule to calculate that side. So we are going to state the rule of Pythagoras as it is. So it's the longest side, which is the hypotenuse. So it's BD squared is equals to AB squared plus AD squared. Then we want to make AB squared the subject of the formula. So what we are going to do is we are going to subtract AD squared on both sides. So AD squared on both sides. So this is going to cancel this, and on the right hand side we'll be left with AB squared. Then on the left hand side we'll be left with BD squared minus AD squared. Then since AB has been squared, we have to take the square root on both sides. So the square root is going to cancel the square and be left with AB on the right hand side. Then on the left hand side we'll be left with the square of BD and minus AD. Then we substitute by the given values. We have given that AD is 8, BD is 15. So we're going to have 15 squared minus AD is 8 squared. So that is going to give us 15, this square root. Okay. So the 15 squared is going to give us 25. 8 squared is going to give us 64. Then we evaluate what is inside the brackets, we get 161. Then we then punch our calculator, find the square root of 161, which is going to give us this value. Then we are going to round off our answer to 3 significant figures, because that's the general rubric that we are most cases given. So when this is rounded off to 3 significant figures, it's going to be 12.7. Now let us look at the second question. It requires us to find angle BDA. So we have to find angle BDA. So angle BDA is BDA. So we want this angle. So we look what we are given. We are given this side and also the other the side which is 15 centimeter in length. We have also calculated the side AB, but we recommend that you use what you are given, so that you avoid a situation whereby you have miscalculated the other side, then it's going to affect your answer at the end. So we are going to use the given sides AD and BD. So we realize that AD is the adjacent side to the angle and BD is the hypotenuse. So the trigonometric ratio that uses the adjacent side and the hypotenuse is the cosine. So we are going to have cos of of BDA is equals to the adjacent side, which in this case is 8, over the hypotenuse, which is 15. So our calculation is going to look like this. So now we have to find the angle whose cosine is 8 over 15. So we are simply going to find the cos inverse of 8 over 15. So we are going to first evaluate what is inside the brackets. What is inside the brackets? And that is going to give us this value. Then we say cos inverse of this value. We punch it in our calculator, and that is going to give us this value here. Then since this is an angle, we normally round angles to 1 decimal place. So we are going to round it here. So when rounded to 1 decimal place, it's going to give us 57.8 degrees. Now, my dear learner, since you are in Form 4, you have to calculate angles and sides of triangles that are non-right angled. So in such situation, one of the formulas that can be used is the sine formula. Let us start by labeling our triangle here. So if we are given a general triangle like the one in our diagram, we label the side length opposite the angle A as A, and the side length opposite angle B as lowercase b, and the side length opposite angle C as lowercase c. Then if we can measure the side length A and measure the angle at A, and then find the sine of the angle at A, then the fraction A over sine A will be equals to the fraction sine B over B, which will also be equals to sine C over C. So that is called the sine formula. If we flip the formula around, we are going to have A over sine A is equals to B over sine B is equals to C over sine C. So these two formulas are the same. So when we want to apply them in a question, we don't need all the three formulas or all the three ratios. We just need any two that will be applicable on the question. And also we use the sine formula whenever we are given two angles and any side length, or when we are given two side length and another angle, but that angle should not be enclosed by the two side length. Now let us look at this example. Calculate, in the given diagram, calculate the length CD. Then the second part, calculate the angle CDE. So you are going to start with the first question. Find the length of CD. So CD is here. Then we are going to concentrate on the non-right angle triangle because that is where our question is based. So we are going to name the side as we have done in the triangle that I have shown. So we are going to name side CD, which is opposite angle B, as small letter b. The side opposite angle D as small letter d. And the side opposite angle C as small letter d. As small letter C. Then we look at the question on what we are given. So when we want to apply the sine formula, we have to make sure that one ratio is known, which means the numerator is known and the denominator is known. That is very important. So we are going to set out our working like this. Since we want the side CD, then we are going to say B over the sine of B is equals to, then on the right hand side we need a known ratio. So in this case it's going to be D over sine D. Then we substitute side B is CD over sine, the angle is 79, angle B is equals to side D is 12.5 over the sine of the angle at D, which is 55 degrees. So our working is going to look like this. Then we have to make the side CD the subject of the formula. So to do that, we are going to multiply both sides by this. So we are going to multiply both sides by sine 79. Multiply by sine 79 degrees. Then if we do that, this is going to cancel out. Then on the right hand side we'll be left with this. Then we have to evaluate the right hand side on a calculator. And then when we have evaluated it, we are going to get this value. Then rounding it off to 3 significant figures, we are going to get 15.0 centimeters. Then let us look at the second part of the question. It says calculate angle CDE. Angle CDE, so this angle. So we notice that this is a straight line. So a straight line is 180 degrees. So in our previous example, we calculated this angle and found it to be 57.8 degrees. Let me check that. Yes, 57.8 degrees. Then we are going to say, because it's a straight angle, the sum is, the straight angle is 180 degrees. So we are going to have 180 minus the sum of 55, this angle, plus 57.8. So our calculation is going to look like that. And that is going to give us 67.2 degrees. Let us look at another example. The diagram shows a triangle PQR with RP 12 centimeters, RQ 18, RPQ 17, and then we are asked to calculate the size of angle RQP. So we want this angle. So we look at what we are given in the question. We are given this side, which is opposite the angle that we want, and also this side, which is opposite this given angle. So we are going to apply the sine formula in this case, because it is a non-right angled triangle. So when we apply our sine formula, it's going to look like this. We want angle Q, so we are going to use the sine formula where the angle is on the numerator. So it's going to look like this, sine Q over the side opposite Q is small letter q, the side opposite P is small letter p. So it's sine Q over Q is equals to sine P over small letter p. So this is the complete ratio on the other side. Then we substitute sine Q is the unknown, so it's going to be sine Q over Q is 12 centimeters. Q is 12 centimeters is equals to sine P, the angle P is 117 over the side P, which is 18 degrees. 18 centimeters. So our calculation is now like that. Then we have to make the angle RQP the subject of the formula. So we multiply by 12 on both sides. Multiply by 12 on both sides. So this is going to cancel that, and then on the right hand side we'll be left with this. Then on the left hand side sine RQP. Then to make the angle RQP the subject of the formula, we just find the sine inverse of what is inside the brackets. So when evaluated, what is inside the bracket is going to give us this value. Then the sine inverse, we are going to punch in your calculator. The sine inverse of this value is going to be this value here. Then rounding it off to 1 decimal place, because it is an angle, is going to be 36.4 degrees. Now, my dear learner, you may be asked to calculate the area in a triangle. In our junior secondary, we calculated areas of triangles using the formula area is equals to half base times height. So in that case, we'll be given the base and then the height. Then you substitute on the formula, then you calculate the area of that given triangle. But we can use the sine formula for the area of a triangle. We can use that formula if you are given an angle and two sides that are adjacent to that angle. So whenever in a triangle you are given an angle and two sides that are adjacent to that angle, then you can use the sine formula to find the area. The sine formula states that the area is equals to half times the two sides that are adjacent to the given angle. In this case, it is A and B, times the sine of the angle enclosed by the two sides. So if the angle that is given is this angle A, then the formula is going to look like this. Area is equals to half times the two sides enclosing that angle is C and it's C and B. So it's going to be half times B times C sine of the included angle, which is A. If the angle is B, then we can do the same to find the area. Now let us look at an example. Just look at this example. Calculate the area of the triangle PQR in the given diagram. So we notice that the angle that is given is 40 degrees and the sides adjacent to it is 17 and 32. So our formula, we set out our calculation like this. Area is equals to half times 17 times 32 times the sine of the included angle, which is 40 degrees. And that is going to look like this. Then we evaluate this on a calculator. We are going to find this value. Then we round it off to 3 significant figures. It's going to give us 175 meter squared. Sometimes, my dear learner, you may be given a question whereby it is not straightforward to find the answer. You cannot use one step to find the answer. Like in the example that is given. The diagram shows triangle ABC with AC 14, BC 10 and angle ABC 63. Calculate the area of the triangle. To calculate the area of the triangle, we need to be given an angle and two sides adjacent to that angle. In this case, we are not given that. So we have to find this angle. But to find this angle, we have to first find the angle at A. So to find the angle at A, we are going to use the sine formula. And we are going to set out our calculation like this. So it's sine of A over 10 is equals to, so it's sine A over the side opposite it, is equals to sine 63 over 14. So our calculation will then look like this. Then we make a CAB the subject of the formula, so multiply by 10 on both sides, and then we find the sine inverse of what is inside brackets. That is going to give us the angle 39 degrees. Then we substitute that angle here, so it's 39.5. So then we can find the angle at C now by using the fact that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So it's going to be 180 minus the sum of the two angles, which is going to give us 75 degrees. Then we substitute the 75 degrees here. So let me check again. It is 77.5 degrees. Then now, since we know the angle and the two adjacent sides, we can use the sine formula for calculating the area of the triangle. And our formula is going to look like this. Area is half times 14 times 10, which are the two adjacent sides, times the sine of 77.5 degrees. So that, when evaluated on the calculator, is going to give 68.3407205 centimeters, which when rounded off to 3 significant figures give 68.3 centimeter squared. In conclusion, my dear learner, in our lesson we have stated and used the sine formula to calculate length and angles of a triangle. We also used the sine formula to find areas of triangles. And that brings us to the end of our lesson today. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson, my dear learner.
Thank you very much, Nhlanhla, for that lesson. We hope the Form 4s learned a lot on trigonometry today, and we'll be seeing you soon, I hope.
I hope so too.
Thank you so much. Viewers at home, please do not go anywhere. Lerato and myself will be back right after this.
Your favorite music show is back. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send in your shout-outs. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
Welcome back to our viewers. Unfortunately, that was the last lesson for the day. We're hoping that you had a wonderful Monday afternoon. How was your day?
My day was fantastic, as always, very amazing. How was your day today?
My day was beautiful. The start to the show was amazing for me. Us wearing those monkey and rabbit hats.
Oh, by the way, you're monkey today. I almost forgot that.
Yes, I am monkey today and you are rabbit today. Just for the day, guys.
Just for the day.
All right, so this is what your Tuesday afternoon of learning looks like. From 2 p.m. until 2:30 p.m., we have Siswati for the grades 1 and 2. From 2:30 p.m. until 3 p.m., we have English language for the grades 3 and 4. From 3 p.m. until 3:30 p.m., we have religious education for the grades 3 and 4. From 3:30 p.m. until 4 p.m., we have religious education for the forms 1 and 2. From 4 p.m. until 4:30 p.m., we have Eswatini for the Form 4s. And the last lesson for the day is religious education for the Form 4s from 4:30 until 5 p.m.
Do not forget, dear viewer at home, that we also have social media platforms, which are YouTube and Facebook, where we are live from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. Do not forget to click that subscribe button, or rather, please click that subscribe button so that whenever we are live, you get a notification.
Also, a reminder about our WhatsApp number that we have that pops up on your screen from time to time. You can use that to text us any questions that you might have during the lessons that you guys will be viewing.
Please do not call us, guys. We will not be able to answer. Do not send voice notes. Just text us or message us if you do not have data. Just message. Do not call.
Yes, please, we kindly ask you to do that. Now, thank you for tuning in this afternoon. We will see you guys tomorrow, 2 p.m. sharp.
Bye, guys.
Bye.